from October. Well, tonight could give us several more answers as well, as the game is underway, kicked off by Gareth O'Brien. Wigan will get first touch of the ball. It's slammed in by Liam Byrne, and Wigan in those change colours of lilac, and immediately there's an injury here, and Joe Offahoengi looks like he's in a bit of trouble there.
Take your time, take your time.
He hit Liam Byrne really hard, Offahoengi, and I've absolutely no doubt. I mean, he'll have to go and be assessed, because he looks very wobbly. I think he's pointing to a shoulder, isn't he? But that was a heavy contact to start the game. Right smile from Liam Byrne.
Well, there's the mark left, isn't it? You know, you talk about the early stages of a match, both sets of forwards trying to show their dominance, and Offahoengi is, I'm sure, trying to convince the physios that it is just a shoulder, not a head injury, which would lead to a compulsory exit from the field for at least 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, the replay tells you otherwise, doesn't it? He gets his body in front. That's two big human beings coming together.
Well, the discussions are going on. Remember, it's in the hands of the medical staff. Doesn't matter what the player says, doesn't matter what the coach might be thinking on the sidelines. If the medical staff make that decision that he has to go for an inspection, then that will be the decision. So there's not just scrutiny on the field, they'll be scrutinising the video off the field as well to see what was the initial response from him from that impact.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Well, I tell you what, Adrian will be really concerned and hoping very much that he can keep Joe Offahoengi on the field. I think he's been a really good addition, and there you go, there's confirmation.
That's exactly what's happened, isn't it? It's the information from the sideline that has led to that decision. So he's off for 15 minutes now for a full inspection. That's a big early blow for Leigh, and a big blow before the game, because David Armstrong ruled out from the starting lineup. And Jenna Brooks down on the sidelines, you have news on that.
Yeah, Dave, if you remember correctly, round one right here between these two teams, it was the fullback, the Leigh fullback, David Armstrong, who really lit up this stage. He misses out tonight. It was quite a surprise exclusion, wasn't it? I spoke to Adrian Lamb. I asked him why he was missing. He said he had a slight knee issue, nothing too serious, but Lamb opted to leave him out in favour of Bailey Hodgson.
Well, there's no necessary weakening of that position, is there? Because we've seen how good Bailey Hodgson, the ex-York player, has been this year.
Yeah, and Kevin Brown made a really good point pitch side about how this developed their squad, and Bailey Hodgson's a great example of that. Probably didn't expect to play as many games as he has, but they've narrowed that gap, haven't they, between the starting 18 and the rest.
Well, the game just settling down into something of a pattern now after that early blow, and the kick away is high, and an early test in terms of that aerial in-flight for Bailey Hodgson, but he's taken it safely enough, and Leigh will get first touch of the ball, but missing one of their big men who had been hoping to make that early impact. And forward comes Hanley to try and gain some very much needed metres here for Leigh with their first set of possession. Bit of a stumble there as well, which doesn't help things. Taken in by Tessie New. We've seen him so eager for hard work down the middle, haven't we, this season. Taken on by Mulhern, who manoeuvres Leigh back towards the halfway line. Ipape out of dummy half. Lamb now down on that left-hand side with a little left foot step, but he's dealt with. So Leigh are on the last and will have to kick, and O'Brien sticking it high and underneath it. Oh, he seemed to be waiting an age for it to come down, Jayfield. Trying to bring it down, the dove from above, trying to coo it down, but eventually he caught that, and Wigan start back again, 10 from their own line. So just as we expected, a tough opening. Oh, that's a good offload as well, that has got Wigan moving a little clearer, but in come the big shoulders to make sure that it's not too much damage for that Leigh defence.
Yeah, good opening set from both sides. The first kind of 10 to 15 minutes of any game, and that's game planned by teams. I think it's psychologically as much as anything else. You make sure the other team blinks first, if you like. So these important opening exchanges.
Carry there from Sam Walters, who's really worked himself into first-team contention, has he? That's a great kick. Is it going to be a 40-20? It skids out of play. It's a forlorn chase by Josh Charnley on that far side, and Wigan will get the ball back and in attacking position as a result of this.
Well, that's your first real shift in momentum. Harry Smith has executed that to perfection, and he's bought Wigan a very early look in this red zone.
Well, here they go. And here comes Walters with that drive in to set a platform here. So 5 plays for Wigan, 5 metres out. They'll just investigate what's going on down the middle again from Byrne, who's making a big early impact, isn't he, with his carries? Back it comes, flicked away, and Nasemba will go trooping back towards the middle, galloping as he does, pushing off a couple of defenders, but finding 2 more there to stop him in his track. O'Neill out of dummy half. Wigan 5 away. Walters helps it on. Bevan French now. Little stuttering start, but Leigh's defence is good here. It has regrouped, refocused, and Wigan at the moment are being repelled. Smith puts it back, but here's danger. Field throws it wide, and here goes Marshall to score in the corner. McIntosh made a guess, he guessed wrong, and it left the way wide open for Liam Marshall to get in. His 5th of the season, and it ain't going to be 1-0 tonight, folks. 4 minutes played, Wigan lead 4-0.
Try scored by Marshall, try assist by Field, but position well and truly set up from the boot of Harry Smith. Looked like to be nothing doing midfield, set himself, kicked across his body and beat Josh Charnley to the touchline. That set up the position. They explored the middle, the right, and then finally on the left edge, through the magical hands of Field, cut out ball to Liam Marshall, who goes in the corner pretty much untouched. And take another look at this pass from Field. Just in half a second, sums up the defence, makes a Myler Hanley commit, leaves the right winger with a real decision to make. And Liam Marshall opens the scoring for the Wigan Warriors. That looked, and if I dare say so early in the game, a little bit easy. Did that for the Wigan Warriors. That would be a concern for Adrian Lamb.
Well, he looks concerned. Sitting down on the touchline. Seeing that from more and more coaches, aren't we? Sitting down close to the action. And Adam Kieran, who's been in generally impeccable kicking form so far this season, with a chance to add to his 36 already struck so far in 2025. And you wouldn't back against him, would you? 5 minutes played, despite the fact that it's on the touchline. Just a reminder, by the way, if you're looking at that scoreline and seeing those 2 Cs, if you missed it, because we only just started doing this in the Magic Weekend, so those of you who didn't get that, that's the captain's challenge that still remains for both sides, those 2 Cs underneath both clubs' names. Meantime, Kieran settles himself, left-footed from the left touchline, so it's difficult in terms of angles, but he makes it look very easy. Slams out between the upright rights, and Wigan into that early 6-0 lead.
Absolutely nailed the kick, didn't he? Turns 4 into 6. Converts Liam Marshall's try. It's worth another look at this. Have a look at the involvement from Field here. Just pulls in a Myler Hanley, the cut-out ball to Marshall. And look, let's not undersell what Marshall does as well. His positioning and timing here. He knows that there's maybe an option for Field to find him with a pass, so holds his width, holds his depth. That's all the experience of a top-class winger.
We have to factor into the night the fact that Wigan have had 2 weeks off since their last game, of course, at Magic Weekend. Leigh were involved in an emotionally draining Challenge Cup tie last week. How much does that influence tonight, or is that overstated at times?
Well, look, I think when you're on the field, there is adrenaline and just a general energy about playing the game, but there's no hiding from the fact you're into round 11 now. There'll be nobody on the field who isn't carrying some kind of niggle. Nobody is 100%. So those sorts of things are magnified, Dave, if you don't have that rest and recovery time. That's what it's all about when you get in the season, how much time you can recover.
Oh, that was not intended, I don't think, for Liam Bryan. He did well, Liam Byrne rather, he did well to hold on to that from the big pass from O'Neill. I think he was due to be a dummy runner. Kicked away by Smith, caught safely and simply enough by Hodgson, who returns and finds just a wall of lilac ahead of him. And we'll have to stop there. Cherry and white hoops against the red and white hoops, and not a hint of either of those colours in either side here tonight. Here's Ipape, stands and waits, 10 short of the halfway line. Carted forward again by New. Wigan just putting the pincers on them at the moment, preventing too much progress. Back it comes this time for Robbie Mulhern.
Better carry from Mulhern, really direct.
Ipape to deliver again. Isaac Liu now up to the line. Needs a little bit of space for Jack Hughes, who's on from the bench. Can't get his arms free. Referee shouts held, so Leigh have to start from here. Ipape brings it out. Now it comes to O'Brien, who puts that chip up. Marshall underneath it. Wardle underneath it. But so too was McIntosh, who's kept it alive. Back it comes again for the exciting runner Hodgson. But he's tackled. That was the last. And Wigan will get it back again.
Yeah, maybe just thought there was an option there that Bailey Hodgson could find. Lachlan Lama was screaming for the ball on the left-hand side. He had players outside him.
Okay, let's go.
But Bailey had seen a glimpse of something. It's not a bad place to turn the ball over.
It's been a while since we've had Friday Night Rugby League, isn't it, with the Challenge Cup last week and Magic Weekend the week before, but it's good to be back. And as long as this sun keeps shining, I know there'll be farmers up and down the country praying for a little bit of rain, but everybody else, I think, is quite happy to see the sunshine. This is O'Neill. He's gathering in. Ellis throws it left. And behind December, it's gone backwards. And this is surely try time as Wardle goes sprinting away. Smarkups pick up by field. And Wardle is in again. Referee's having a look at this. Referee wants a second opinion.
Like call a try. Just making sure there's no knock on, please.
But they're looking at a knock-on, and clearly the ball did come free. It's a question of how did it fly. Let's hear from the video referee, Liam Rush, here tonight.
OK, tackle 3, we've got on-field decision of try. We are checking for a knock-on in the build-up. So we go slow on this, please. So it looks like there's no touch from December there. Do you have another angle? Possibly, yeah, this one. So nice and really slow on this. Really slow. The ball misses Nsembe's hands and continues to go backwards. Field then gathers the ball. That's fine. Run it through to the grounding. Slow on the grounding, please. And the ball is grounded. I've made my decision.
Well, this is an ominous start, isn't it? Wigan jumping into a double-digits lead with barely 9 minutes played. There's an element of suspense, but we know what's coming next. And that's the verdict. Wigan's second try. 10 points to nil, kick to come.
Yeah, look, there may have been a miscue in attack, but if the ball's going to fall to one individual in that Wigan side, you want it to be Jay Field, don't you? I mean, he's just got pace to burn. The setup, the shape is all front foot stuff because the work they've done in the previous tackles. Ball to ground. Jay Field squares up Bailey Hodgson. Jake Wardle just skips out the attempted tackle from Bailey Hodgson to score Wigan's second try. Picks up on the bounce. Smart, patient, composed work from the fullback, and Jake Wardle canters in for Wigan's second.
It's amazing. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it's amazing how often the ball to the ground opens up a defence, because that's the thing they're not expecting. And I know of Super League coaches that have used that as a play over the years. There you can see that he's climbing up the ladder on the try-scoring table. Is Jake Wardle. Adam Kieran with a much simpler proposition than he had for the first one, and he makes it look easy as well. 12 points to nil. Boy, do Leigh need a response here.
No, they absolutely do, yeah. I mean, again, look, from behind, you could see the positioning. I mean, Jay Field's positioning is absolutely perfect, so it's largely irrelevant in the grand scheme of things whether that ball reaches him on the full or off the turf. It's the same result, and that's the Jake Wardle try. Just looked very, very smooth, didn't it?
So Leigh already looking a little desperate here, needing something to start switching their way as quickly as possible. It's a rampant Wigan at the moment, and they need to be stopped. O'Neill clouted in again by Walters, who's up and plays. O'Neill goes right. This is Ellis now, who challenges that Leigh defence. 3 of them up to the task, do their job. O'Neill again. French dancing on that right-hand side, and Kieran trying to push through as well. And he's carried that a good few metres after the initial contact. Leigh are pushed back an extra yard or two. It's back with Ellis, and here is, well, in the end, it's December who takes it off Smith, but they're on the last. It's back with Harry Smith, who puts it up in the air. Hodgson underneath it. Keeps a close beady eye on that, and those Leigh fans behind, a little ripple of applause as he then takes it in. But there's nowhere to go because Wigan's defence is up there quickly.
I was just thinking exactly the same thing. Repetitive for Bailey Hodgson. Has to wait for a ball that steeples down towards him and then looks up with no options. So it has improved the angle, the position on the field, and that's about it.
Here's Charlie. As Brian was saying in the build-up, just one away from his 250th Super League try, one of several landmarks he's chasing at the moment.
What a milestone that would be, by the way.
Well, the news we're getting from downstairs, by the way, is that Joe Ofahengawi has passed his HIA, so we'll be back very soon. That'll be a little bit of a boost in these circumstances for Leigh. Pepe picks up Hughes. Again, not necessarily the intended passee, but the kick away from O'Brien. Now it's with Field. Here comes Marshall, looking to measure up, but again, Leigh's defence is up quickly. Yeah,
they manufactured a good end to a set there as well. I mean, again, a missed choice of pass, but Gareth O'Brien has dropped that over the head of Liam Marshall. And they've got an opportunity here now, probably the first of the game, to really try and restrict what Wigan can do in possession.
It's great how this fixture has grown in reputation, isn't it, over the years, and really set up by that opening weekend match that was marvellous. Only Leigh's second ever win in Super League against Wigan, that one. O'Neill into dummy half. Ellis again, that little pivot role, just helping on some of the big men to try and make a bit of damage. Walters down, they're on the last here. Leigh have restricted Wigan to only 40 metres inside their own half, so Smith has to kick away. Hodgson finds a difficult bouncing ball that takes him back a yard or two further than he would have liked. He's got support on that left-hand side, but Kieran's smartly up to him. And Leigh will start 20 from their own line again. Yeah,
again, really well taken by Bailey Hodgson. He had to get on his bike, get back and retrieve that ball. You just wonder at what stage the Leigh Leopards try and play a little bit more expansive. I know we're still in that kind of the early throes of the game, but they've been stung twice already.
Pepe picks up and moves forward, and Lamb now helps it on its way. O'Brien's joining in, but it's going to be a full stop when O'Neill carries it into two Wigan defenders. Pepe, little spring to that left-hand side. Ofahengawi back on the field and back in the thick of the action, just inside Wigan territory, but they've run out of plays. They're on the last. Lamb puts it up in the air. And underneath it is young Zach Eckersley in the absence of Abbas Miski. Tonight he's going to be out for a while, isn't he?
Yeah, but again, you know, there's the mark of top-class sides, and you would put both of these teams in that category is just who comes in and replaces him. I mean, Zach Eckersley, we've already seen some wonderful things from him, haven't we, in the limited time that he's pulled on a Wigan shirt.
There's Marshall, there he is, young fella.
Yeah, player with a big future.
Here's Ellis, he's crabbing across the face of that Leigh defence and bowls it away, and well collected by Walters as well. He's a big fella, he had to bend low, but he's caught it safely enough and then trundle an extra few yards further forward. Nasemba picks up at dummy half. It's going to be another crashing effort from Byrne. Taking in Ofahengawi, making sure. O'Neill switches it left for Smith to put it high. Underneath this is McIntosh, who pouches carefully and throws it back to Bailey Hodgson and says, there you go, fella, you have a go at this advancing Wigan menace, and he makes a yard or two, that is all.
Yeah, but I like that, though. I like that willingness to pass, just to shift those Wigan players around a bit. It softens the impact of that first tackle, makes the Wigan defensive line adjust.
It's Charlie out of dummy half. He's doing some of that heavy labour now, doing a decent job of carrying that ball 12 metres or so. Again, a ripple from those Leigh fans behind the sticks as he does just that. Now it's with Mulhern, dragging Wigan closer to their own half. As Leigh go forward again here. They are making a bit of progress. Ofahengawi once more, but they reach the last, so it's back with Lamb. Sticks it up in the air. Field underneath it. There's a big chase on here, and Field does well. but he's lost the ball.
I'll tell you what, Owen Trout must have chased 30 metres there, and he's forced a mistake. Forced a mistake from Jay Field. Look, top of your screen, onside, checks his run, and then just has eyes only for the ball, realises he's not going to get there. The timing's perfect and puts enough pressure on Jay Field, who just tries to move on the catch to evade the tackle. I think Owen Trout is he's in that bracket of one of the most improved in Super League. I mean, he's a unit, isn't he? And I think he's really starting to realise now what he can do with that frame of his.
A lot of fans talking about him being in the England mix-up for the Ashes at the end of the year.
Well, certainly in the conversation. I think his form is that good.
Well, moments can change momentum, and that might be a moment that just switches things in Leigh's favour here. What can they make of this field position? Best they've had so far in terms of starting a set. Hodgson, 8 away when he's plunged to the ground. McIntosh will pick up, looking on the inside where O'Brien is standing and waiting. Off a Hengawi again. He's trying to push his way through, backing in as well to nip an extra couple of yards out of that situation. Ipape, left it comes. O'Brien, now it's with Lamb. Back on the inside comes New with a charging effort that proves to be unstoppable. And momentum might just have switched. Well, they are encouraged, and with good reason, from looking forlorn. Now it looks like fate is favouring them, and Leigh are back in the game.
Look, they've played a couple right, opened the field up, and then that combination between O'Brien and Lamb, who drifts across and unleashes the bulldozer. This was the mistake that was forced with the hard work and the kick chase from Owen Trout. And then take a look at how they open the field up there with the opening 2 plays. O'Brien to Lamb, drifts across. It's Fowler who over chases, and he leaves Tessie New one-on-one with Brad O'Neill. And he's a hard man to stop. We've seen some really strong highlight runs from Tessie New in his first season as a Leigh Leopard. Isn't he happy as well? He scored at the wrong end for that Tessie, right in front of all the Wigan fans, but he's very, very pleased with the last 20 seconds work or so. It's a good response from the Leigh Leopards.
His strength in the carry has been phenomenal.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, the amount of tackle busts, he must be, I think he's certainly in the top 3 in the league for tackle busts. Tessie New.
Well, Gareth O'Brien with a chance to bring this lead back to within 6 points. And manageable, workable. From a position of looking like Wigan might dominate this game completely, Leigh have given them just a little bit of doubt as over it goes. O'Brien sticks it over. It's 12 points to 6, and Leigh have made it game on again.
And it's a really well-constructed play. Just that drift sideways. It's Liam Fowler who loses his hips, turns sideways, starts to chase something that may happen further outside on the field, and Tessie New just barnstorms his way to the try line.
Well, a thoughtful Adrian Lamb, and he's going to be a little more content than he was maybe a couple of minutes ago. But the first chance they've had, the first real set inside their opponent's 20, and they've taken advantage. Yeah,
and they earned that off the back of hard work and a bit of extra effort from Owen Trout. And there's a blueprint there for success for the rest of the game.
There's a reminder at the bottom of your screen of what's coming up this weekend. Hull KR, Huddersfield. And if Wigan win tonight, they go top, but Hull KR, if they beat Huddersfield, could resurrect their leadership. But of course, Huddersfield are on a winning run at the moment. They got that wonderful win against their cross-city rivals, Hull KR, against Hull at Magic Weekend. So they should not be taken lightly. This is Ipape trying to bounce out of dummy half again. So many problems caused when he's in that kind of a mood, and he tends to be generally in that kind of a mood.
He's such a good runner of a football, isn't he?
Off a Hengawi. Wasn't quite sure whether he was going to pass or go. He decided to go, but Wigan's defenders have him. And with 1 play to go, Ipape at dummy half, and Lamb now will put that big left foot on that, sticks it high. Eckersley underneath it again. It's taking so long to come down. It was so high, gave the chasers every chance to get there.
Once again, it's Tessie New this time, supported by Owen Trout. You see the result of it again. It puts Wigan in a really difficult position. These are tough carries now. That changes the complexion of the attacking and defensive set that we're seeing unfold.
Kicking game so important, and brought to the fore by Leigh. on that occasion. O'Neill out of dummy half. Back towards the middle. This is Thompson, who's maybe one or two raised eyebrows that he wasn't in the starting lineup today, but he's on from the bench. Walters carries again, proving a handful.
Now you see, look at that good set. End of the tackle. Tackle 5, and Smith's having to clear from inside his own half again.
And Hodgson gets down well, and fingertips underneath the ball, collects it safely, goes back towards the middle of the park to make sure that the touch lines are not an issue. It's especially the case when you're playing against Wigan. They do like to gang up and drag you out of play, don't they? So went for safety first. This is McIntosh. Ipape at dummy half. Left to Charlie, the other winger. Comes skirting back in and pushes his side hard towards that halfway line with 3 tackles gone. Halfway through the count, halfway down the field. And again by Mulhern. Ipape, O'Brien is bouncing to that right-hand side, and he wants the ball and he gets the ball, and it's a little chip towards the corner to put Wigan under pressure. The odd bounce means that Field can't do much with it before Hanley arrives on the scene, and Wigan again starting close to their own line here.
Yeah, look at if it works, so let's repeat it. Look, put Wigan in the corner again, and it's the kick chase that's really making these kicks turn from good to great. The Warriors really struggling.
There's a footwork of Vaughan, the pass away, but Eckersley can't read it in, but it is a penalty. A little bit of interference, I think, from Leigh defenders.
I've been speaking to you about the middles, boys. Mullen offside.
Has he called them offside? Yeah, it's an offside call, I think. But you know, it's a beautiful footwork from Jake Wardle and Adam Kieran, the opposite centre. You know, it's Lachlan Lamb that doesn't get back on side, and he's pinged. He was right in the eye line of Chris Kendall. So the Warriors with a reprieve and another set of 6.
And looking to make early progress, and doing it the muscular way in the first instance to find a spot inside their opponent's half. Smith puts it back. Walters goes charging on again. Leaning on the field, as you can see, off the bench. Smith to his left. Nasemba now. Standing upright, thinking about maybe offloading, but nobody close enough for that to be a proper option. Smith along the line, Leeming. Back it goes to French. They're angling in from that right-hand side. Field with the fancy footwork, but that doesn't impress Lachlan Lamb, who simply picks him up and dumps him down. Don't do that to me. Thompson now, off that left foot, trying to change the angle of the surge. And this is the last play in the set. They're going to that right-hand side, and Bevan French, whose pass is wonderful, and sliding in is Kieran. Well, the finish was good, but how about the build-up play from Bevan French that helps give Wigan their 3rd try?
Right, it's a real touch of class from Bevan French. Blink and you'll miss it. But just to stop and the go, squares up the defensive player, and then rifles a pass to Adam Kieran. I think what impresses me as much as anything else is there's very, very few players who can read Bevan French. These Wigan Warriors players, they've got him down to a T. That break step, go over the overs line, and then Adam Kieran has just timed his run to perfection. What a ball that is. Kieran doesn't have to do much, but it's the work that he has to start with. But take a look at this pass. Just stands up Lamb and then fires across the face of Tessie New. And Kieran in for Wigan's 3rd try. Just a moment, a flash of brilliance from one of Super League's best.
You know you've seen a special try when it's on the big screen, and on the 3rd replay the crowd are still oohing and ahhing.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of a handful of players in our league that can really change a game just by inserting himself at any point. Such a valuable asset for the Wigan Warriors.
So Adam Kieran can settle again. 3 tries to his name now. You saw that 200 points last season. He'll be closing in on that again this season. He's already up to 84. In fact, 88 points if he puts this over. I think it's his 90th point of the season already. So he's closing in on what he did last year. On course for that anyway. Settles again. Shadows just lengthening around the stands, by the way. As the sun begins to dip. Kieran settles. Taking all the time in the world. And left-footed hits it. Oh, and it's the post. John Wells?
It's probably worth taking another look at this, because Bevan French in the build-up, I think this was going open. Bevan French, take a look at him, right-hand side of his screen, he's calling this. There's an overcall on the last tackle, so Cruz Leamy now knows he's going short side. Bevan French has looked at the numbers, figured there may be an opportunity to strike on the short side, and then has the ability to execute his game plan as well. It's top draw stuff, outstanding stuff from that man.
Yeah, and there was a Leigh player who was drawn to him, wasn't there? Who clearly saw the danger, but it's one thing seeing it, it's another thing stopping it with that kind of footwork. And here we go again. We've got the subtleties and we've got the absolute powerhouse. Dupree scrambling free. Leaning, just working his way to another 5 or so metres gained. Now it comes to Farrell. Wigan just trying to batter their way downfield at the moment. Leigh again looking to change momentum of the match. Thompson, that's a decent effort. Again with a step, right-footed step that time. Leeming skips out. Oh, there you go. Edwin Ipape. He doesn't miss many times, and when he hits, boy, does he hit. Smith with a kick. Oh, Watson didn't know whether to stick or twist, and that might be a mistake. And Nasemba will go charging in. Never let the rugby ball bounce. Hudson was looking around, and while he was looking around, Junior Nasemba was on the case, and he might have scored. He thinks he's scored.
Just checking Jake Waddle's onside, please.
But we have to make sure that Wardle was onside, as you heard there. So let's hear from the video referee again.
Okay, we have a try on field. It's from a kick, so we'll check onside, offside. So kick chasers need to have both feet behind the ball. Jake Wardle has both feet behind the ball. However, Junior Nasemba has 1 foot in front of the ball. So if we run it through from here, there's also chasers to the right that are offside, so we'll track their involvement as well. So Jake Wardle's fine. Just need to track the involvement of Nasemba. Okay, so at the point the ball bounces, if you just go back on that, at the point the ball bounces, there's nobody in a realistic position to gather the ball. So we can play on from that point. Junior Nasemba is also outside the 10 metres at that point. Wardle's fine, we can then play on. He's a passive chaser at that point, and he's outside the 10 metres of the nearest man waiting for the ball, so we can play on up to that point. Do we have something close in on the grounding? And the ball is grounded. I've made my decision.
Well, as I say, these parts never not wrong with the grounding. An old rule or new rule. I think even in the old rule of the offside, that ridiculous rule that they thankfully got rid of this year, I think even under that one, that's still a try, and that is Wigan's 4th of the night when the decision is finally confirmed on the big screen.
Yeah, really well explained by Liam Rush as well. Talked us through all the major talking points on there. I think the conversation that's going on between the Leigh players and Chris Kendall is, look, well, he was offside at the point of the kick, so, you know, if an offside player is an offside player, ball's bounced, he's not within 10, a passive chaser, well explained by Liam Rush. It's just the ball of a bounce that undoes the Leigh Leopards. Just a catch and pass from Jake Wardle, who was onside. And Junior Nasemba, as you said, Wigan's 4th try of the evening, and it's just a quick-fire double that really takes the wind out of the Leigh Leopards' sails. Tessignew got them back on the board, didn't he? And I tell you that they were anticipating, but they were jubilant as well when that response came in.
They know their sign language, don't they, those young fans? And just a little of aggravation there. I think Wigan players celebrating in front of those Leigh fans at that end. I don't think those Leigh fans would have enjoyed that too much, but part of the game. So Kieran settling here, And even though it's his easiest kick of the night, he's still going to go through all this preparation, all this build-up. But there's a real party mood around the stadium, 3/4 of the stadium at the moment. Kieran settles, here he comes. And there it goes, just as we expected. 22 points to 6. John Wells, what do Leigh have to do here now?
Well, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I think both of Wigan's tries, one is a piece of brilliance from Bevan French. You almost have to doff your cap when something like that happens, and that's just an unlucky bounce of the ball. I think there's been small moments that have really magnified and unravelled for the Leigh Leopards. I certainly wouldn't be panicking at this stage. I know this has been a quick-fire double that has really deflated the Leigh Leopards, but these have been small moments that have unravelled. The 40-20 from Harry Smith, the oddly bouncing ball there that's resulted in December's try. There is not, I don't think, the golfing quality that the scoreboard suggests at the moment between these two sides.
Well, the consolation factor for Leigh at the moment is defeat tonight. They will still finish the weekend in the top 3, but that will be scant consolation. They'll be chasing the win hard because they can get ahead of Wigan, but just at the moment, getting ahead of Wigan, not only in the table, but here tonight, is proving to be a difficult task, helped a little by that knock-on by Wardle. It's McIntosh will pick up, there's no advantage. So they'll go back to the original decision, and Leigh will get the ball back here.
Yeah, Wigan have left the door open there. Just Jake Wardle took his eyes off the ball. I think he was thinking about what he was going to do next.
He's got released.
One other game tonight being played, of course.
He's subjective.
Leeds against Hull, and Lewis Martin is a scorer there, so Hull FC leading that game, just looking for a reversal of recent form themselves, aren't they? Both sides desperate for a win there, you'd think. Starting the night in 5th and 6th, both could cement their place in the top 6 with a victory on this Friday evening. And Leigh with Hodgson almost breaking through. Well, they've got many exciting players, but Hodgson, having made that half break, is now adjudged to have knocked it on. And very quickly Wigan get the ball back again.
Yeah, it was a smart piece of play, wasn't it, to just Bailey Hodgson hanging around behind the scrum, broke late, and then Lachlan Lamb with the inside ball. It's just enough in the tackle from Tyler Dupree, and he celebrates what is a mistake, a handling error from Bailey Hodgson. That's probably fair enough, that as well.
Let's go, put down, heads in.
So Wigan get it back, 10 from their own line.
Okay, Joe. Heads in, okay, ball and check it off. Out.
Here it comes. Leigh's scrum broke quickly there to deal with what was coming their way. Ethan O'Neill popping out. Liam Marshall popped down. Ellis to Dupree, and then again the big shoulders are going in. This time it was Trout who got the shoulder down to make his mark, to bruise his opponent. Thompson.
Don't drift.
But again, he's just chewing up an extra yard or two. Leeming, skipping out. Farrell bouncing on. Leigh are keeping this to a minimum at the moment. Wigan with 4 gone, still 15 inside their own half, but always that threat there as Ellis keeps it alive despite the attempts of Robbie Mulhern. And Wardle now making great progress down this left-hand side, overruns some of his support players. And Edward Ipape says, well, we've had enough of that nonsense. Get that into your ribs. But what a carry from Wardle. And now on this left-hand side, that'll be a knock-on, I think, against Hanley. Will it? No, it's a forward pass. It was a forward pass.
It's the last tackle turnover.
Well, we had a bit of everything in that.
Well, we could see what Jay Field was intending there. I hope we get to marvel at Jake Wardle's footwork again, but you can see what the intention was, but it came out of his hands forward. So it matters not that Amila Hanley has fumbled that. But what about this? I mean, this is just outstanding stuff. There's 2 steps, 3 players beaten, 4 players beaten. Didn't see Edwin Ipape on the blind side. But what a run. And now a reprieve does come for the Leigh Leopards. Wigan Warriors offside.
It's like mercury just trickling through the nicks of that Leigh defence there, isn't he,
classy,
Jake
so classy, isn't he?
And Lamb will find touch. And Leigh with a reprieve and needing to respond again. They're 3 scores back at the moment. They need to reduce that before half-time. And they have a chance here in terms of possession. Ipape. Waiting and goes left. Off Hengawe. Carries in and pops it up before the tackle's complete. And Ipape will carry it on with good strides. And Leigh are moving with menace. New picks up and throws to the middle. O'Brien, oh, it was an intercept. It was, well, I was going to say telegram. It was actually sent second-class post, that one, wasn't it? Harry Smith saw that about 10 minutes before the pass came. And Wigan will get a penalty on the back of that Schumacher.
Oh, what a shame, because they've worked themselves into some really good position again. But you're right, predetermined, preordained pass. And I think he tried to kind of suck it back as he was leaving his fingers because he knew what was coming. And this is the penalty that was given away. Just too much in and around the ball after the tackle.
Second efforts and all that, so penalty given away, and Wigan have a chance to build once more. And here's Tyler Dupree setting a platform. Wigan options right and left, French to the right. That's the way it goes. And here comes Thompson and heads rock back as he hits hard. And Leeming stands and waits. And it's back with French again, skipping out. Smith with a short pass. Nasemba helped on his way a little. His defenders trying to put him down to the ground. They're getting closer at Wigan again. Leigh are defending back on their own goal line. They need to show some courage here. The short pass almost opening things up for Dupree. Leeming goes right. Now it's Ellis who spins and surges for that line. And he's put it down. He's put it down. They were wrestling up top, and he got his big arms free and appeared to ground the ball.
This is a try. It's a really, really smart piece of work by Ellis.
Just checking he maintained possession all the way to the ground.
Did he maintain possession? That's a question that's being asked. But where did those hands come from? Let's hear from the video referee again.
Markers are too deep.
OK, tackle forward, we've got on-field decision of try. We're checking he maintains possession into possible grounding. Just go back on this. Just go back on this. I'll check that he's in possession up to this point. So forward on this, please. So he's in possession there. He's still in possession. Always still in possession. Still in possession. Keep going on this. He's still in possession there. Just go to camera 5 on that, or camera 10. Just check that he maintains possession when he switches hands. So go back to the point where it's in his right hand. Okay, so we know he's in possession there, so slow on this. Slow on this. He's still in possession. He's still in possession. He's always in possession there. And the ball appears to be grounded. We'll just confirm the grounding on camera 5. We know he always stays in possession. So just go before this, please. Okay, so he's in possession. And the ball is grounded on the line. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, they come in all shapes and sizes, and that's just as effective as a 90-yard break. Leigh were doing a job up top. They forgot the ball, and Ellis puts it down. And this will be Wigan's 5th try of the night. We have to wait for the decision, but we know it was coming. 5 tries, 26 points to 6. Boy, are Wigan doing a number at the moment.
Oh, it's been a dynamite first 40 minutes for the Wigan Warriors. Kane Ellis with his first of the season gets himself off the nudie run. That's as important for middle forwards as anything else. Wigan's 5th of the evening. And it's a really smart piece of play, isn't it? Because he would feel the pressure here from the defenders, and they're trying to stop forward momentum, but he realised he's over the white line. If he could extricate himself from the tackles and get the ball down, then you get an instinct for these things. There's players around you know where that pressure's been applied, and all that pressure was to keep him upright. He realised he was right over the try line and had the ability to get that ball free under control and ground the ball. He must have got a really good shot of that. He's looking at the floor. And Kane Ellis. And that's it. Again, interesting start at the bottom, ever present for the Wigan Warriors. He's been really important, locks that middle for them.
And Kieran to add another 2, 3 goals and a goal post so far. So 4 out of 5, 4 goals and a goal post. 28 points to 6.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because this doesn't feel like a 28 points to 6 game. It's just been, you mentioned it, the buzzword of the evening's moments, isn't it? And how each side have handled them. When moments have presented themselves for the Wigan Warriors, they've kicked the door in.
The problem Leigh have is they haven't been able in the last 10 games to score many points against Wigan. That 1-0 win bucking a trend in terms of wins against Wigan, but in the last 10 games there's a knock-on. So they will get a chance to score points. They've only scored 76 points in the last 10 games. That's an average of just under 8 points a game.
7.6 a game.
7.6 a game. Well, you're the mathematician, aren't you?
Look, Wigan have opened the door once again.
Yeah.
This is a moment in the game. The Wigan Warriors have been handed these by the Leigh Leopards and have taken full advantage. Here is a moment as we approach half-time where the Leigh Leopards can really do something. They've had opportunities before. They've come up with nothing.
And boy, do they need it. Boy, do they need it. Lamb now on that left-hand side. So potent, so often that left-hand side of Leigh. And Hodgson making the threat. He's not diffused. It's still alive. Ipape helps it on. And Ofa Hengawe will score his first Leigh try if he's got it down.
I'll tell you what, Jake Wardle may have come up with the best try-saver of all time here.
Liam,
this might be brilliant.
Live call a try.
Well, he thinks a try.
Just looking at grounding, please.
Looking at the grounding, inevitably. He thinks try. But has it been kept up? Or is Ofa Hengawe up and running in terms of try scoring? Let's hear from the video ref.
Okay, there's no tackle. We're just checking grounding. The on-field ruling is try. So he's in possession at that point. He's in possession. Is the ball grounded at that point? Okay, so we know he's in possession. He's diving towards the line. Diving towards the line. Is the ball grounded at that point? Do we have any other angles that could help us? Possibly 5 or the high behind. Okay, really slow on this, really slow. So he's always in possession. Just show me that one more time, really slow. Does he get the ball down at that point? Do you have any other angles that I could view, please? We've got a live call of try on field. So the top of the point of the ball appears to be grounded there. Just show me that angle again to confirm. We can see there that the ball is grounded. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, it was nearly the hand of Wardle, but it's Ofa Hengawe who comes up trumps. It's going to be a try. Leigh have got what they so desperately needed with half-time looming. They needed to get points on the board. They have got points on the board. The try confirmed. 28-10 kick to come, and that makes it a very different second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm still marvelling at the defensive effort from Jake Wardle. I think that was super close. Video referee has awarded a try. He's seen enough there. Went up as a try. That adds weight, doesn't it? But it's a really important time for Ofa Hengawe and for the Leigh Leopards to score. And it came from a scrum play, didn't it? And some really adventurous stuff. But I tell you what, that is super close. There's hands underneath that. There's hands all over. Ofa Hengawe celebrates, but this is the scrum play and how it unfolds. You see the late break from Bailey Hodgson, and he's picked up from Tessie New. Hodgson does well to ride out the tackle of Zach Eckersley. And then I think finding that pass, this is where I was wanting to be a little bit more expansive, find some pre-line stuff, and it's caused Wigan some problems there.
Well, we thought he'd started the night in Disneyland, didn't we? But he got through that head injury assessment, and he's something of a Marvel hero now, having scored his first try for Leigh.
I was wondering where that was going. I was waiting for the punchline. It's excellent, Dave. Excellent.
Was there a punchline there? I didn't notice. Anyway, 28 points to 12. 2 minutes of the half remaining. Can Leigh strike again here? Here's Hodgson. Wrapped up.
goes. Back foot. Wait.
Ipape. Some credit to Leigh. I mean, they could easily have succumbed here in this, but full credit. They've kept in the fight. They've kept themselves in the fight, and they're making it even better as Ipape goes skipping through again. Looks for the ball. Off for Hengawi. Hungry for more. Dragged down by the retreating Marshall. But Leigh, suddenly, all guns blazing, attacking this Wigan line. Back comes a Myler Hanley. Running into treacle. Wigan defenders just again doing their job. This is the last play. Lamb sticks it up in the air. Charlie's in the chase. Others are in the chase as well, but it's knocked forward. Wigan will get the ball back again. Field comes skidding out of there, and there's Ipape. Doesn't quite make full contact, just as well from Field's point of view, but Wigan are back in possession.
Well, I'll tell you what, they can take this last 5 minutes into half-time and show some real promise about how they can conduct themselves in the second, because they've been direct and strong. Ipape's runs, Mulhern's runs, Hengawi's runs have been excellent, and when they've got themselves into position, they've shown they've got enough abilities to take advantage.
Field, Nasemba is pushing off, or trying to push off the attendant Hanley, but Hanley's got some mates who are there to help him out. This is likely to be the last play of this first half. Smith along the line, Ellis again, unlikely try scorer, certainly in unlikely circumstances a while back, and he's the last man to succumb to the tackle. That will be the end of a fascinating first half. At times Wigan sublime, but Leigh have kept themselves in the contest with some courage and character. Sets it up nicely for the second half. Half-time, Wigan at 28, Leigh Leopards 12.
Dave, John, thank you very much. It was very nearly extinguished at 28-6, but the flickering flame of hope for the Leigh Leopards is still there. It's the second battle of the Borough in season 2025, and the visitors trail by 28 points to 12 to a Wigan Warriors side who at times have been unstoppable. The utter brilliance of Bevan French amongst the highlights in that first 40 minutes, which we will discuss with Kevin Brown and Jody Cunningham after this. And over 83 pulsating minutes, scored just a point between them. They have given us 40 points in the first 40 minutes of this round 11 encounter, the second battle of the Borough in 2025. Leigh will not go away. The Wigan Warriors, though, with a healthy first half lead. Kevin Brown, your point that you're emphasising is first try score in the second half is all important.
Yeah, it's huge. I think if it is the Wigan Warriors, the party starts, and it could be a long evening for the Leopards. But on the flip side of that, if the Leopards can come out off the back of Adrian Lamb's team to score first, then they've a massive chance.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, Leigh Leopards have to carry on with the kick pressure, kick chase, put a lot of effort onto this back three and force some errors.
Okay, let's get some half-time team news. One from what will be two busy changing rooms. Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, thanks very much, Brian. Adrian Lamb spent that entire 15 minutes with his players. Matty Peake came out a little earlier. I spoke to him. He said that he felt that the game was a lot closer than that 28-12 scoreline suggested. He said that he wants his players to enjoy defending in this second half. Adrian Lamb, as I said, he spent that entire half with his players. I haven't yet spoken to him, but I'll bring you an update shortly. But let's get this second half underway. Over to you, Dave and John.
Thank you, Jenna. Well, the noisy neighbours still hoping to rattle the door of Wigan here tonight, but Leigh, as Kev was saying a little earlier, need to score next in this game. Full marks for still being in the contest, but they need to score next.
Yeah, absolutely they do. I think they've shown enough that they've got the ability, the promise, the resilience is there. They've got the talent in the Leigh side as well to unpick this Wigan defence. Edwin Ipape's had an outstanding first 40 minutes, hasn't he?
Well, Leigh get first touch of the ball in this second half. What can they do to try and dent Wigan's confidence in this opening set? They need to find some yards first and foremost. Ipape out of dummy half as Mulhern leads the challenge. with that second carry, and a bit of a hush actually descends around the stadium. They were all excited as the two teams came out, and they're just gathering breath here. Offahengawi, the try scorer, one of the try scorers. Ipape, who's a constant threat, isn't he? Such a talented player.
Good couple of carries there. Offahengawi and then Edwin Ipape. Isaac Leigh with the last of the set before the kick goes away. That's transformed their first set in the second half. This looks better.
Lamb left, O'Brien right. It's Lamb the way it goes. The two Wigan defenders went running after him, but he gets a good high kick away again. Fields able to catch that before they're on his case. Too close, but it is still an efficient line that Leigh lead. And so Wigan start inside their own 20. Eckersley with a carry. We didn't get Adrian Lamb's half-time thoughts, but Jenna's had a word. Jenna?
Dave, I have indeed. He said that he wants his players to tighten up in defence. They can't let it go penalty try, which is how it went in that first half. He said that he felt his players had two good cracks in attack, and they managed to score both times. So that is the focus for this second half.
Well, this is a worry for Leigh. Gareth O'Brien is clearly down and in some consternation, and you think a head injury here.
Yeah, it's a contact in the tackle as part of that defence. Liam Marshall, just to the left-hand side of your screen, is receiving treatment as well. I mean, I think those two came together in the tackle.
Marshall getting a bit of treatment, but the major concern is with Gareth O'Brien, who's on the ground. I would suspect that HIAs might be in order for both these players. Initial checks being administered. O'Brien, well, they can't afford to lose him, can they, Leigh?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's just... I'm looking at if he does have to go for a head injury assessment, what sort of...
Well, they got Ben McNamara on the bench, and he's been playing a lead role, hasn't he, last couple of weeks? So.
Yeah.
Have a look at this.
Just a clash of heads, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's the way the players reel out of tackles like that always worry me. Yeah, confirmation, I think, now that Gareth O'Brien is going to be leaving the field.
Yeah, he doesn't look great, does he? He doesn't look great. Little shake of his head as he comes away. Have we had confirmation that it's an HIA? Let's have a look. Yeah, there's a green card down on the touchline, and Ben McNamara is holding that green card, so he comes off. Natural replacement. But O'Brien will be disappointed to possibly be off for the rest of the game.
Yeah, he's been in great form in 2025, hasn't he? I mean, Ben McNamara's done a great job when he's had the opportunity, but certainly one of your strike halves is going to be missing for the next 50 minutes at least.
And Liam Marshall, who looks to have had his nose a little bit rearranged, is still on the field. He's okay. So Wigan come off best in that little clash of heads, and Wigan come off with possession as well here still. Ellis trying to spin. But legs, arms, everything dealt with by those three Leigh defenders who put him down. It's back with Smith, who gets the kick away, despite the advancement of O'Neill, and caught safely enough. Challenges on again here. Led in the first instance by McIntosh, who's done really well to get that ball away. And springing into life comes New. And he's a potential offloader as well, but Nasemba does a job. Ipape, left. McIntosh again. Ipape. Waiting. Leigh fans are making a noise to our left-hand side, trying to encourage their side to something glorious here. As Isaac Leigh takes in a few extra steps. Ipape, Offahengawi, and Lamb gets a pass away, and Hodgson, in Quicksilver fashion again, is off and running, but two defenders attracted. Another set of six, though, for Leigh to play with here. Well, Hearn spins it away. Ipape's trying to direct the Leigh traffic towards the goal line, offers it off to McNamara. He's dragged down, but Leigh have 5 tackles to play with here. And look how close they are. Back it comes. Leigh tries to spin, urging himself towards that line again, but he's just going to be held short. And Ipape's got plenty of time to glare around and consider what comes next. Out it comes to McNamara, fresh to the piece. Lamb offers it back on the inside. Hanley comes running in. Farrell went low, did the stopping. Another set of 6, another set of 6. McNamara switches it back. Off for Hengawi, hopping and skipping and looking for a direct route through. Thought about the offload, as you could see, but decided against that. But they've still got so many tackles as an option here, and there's Alt to O'Neill, and Ethan O'Neill finally finds a way through. They battered, they wrestled, they stepped, and eventually they muscled through that Wigan defence. And just as they required, they have an early score, and suddenly it gets very, very interesting.
It was absolutely imperative that the Leigh Leopards, the visitors, go on the scoreboard first in the second half. Ipape with a decision to jump short side. Lachlan Lamb had rolled to the open side to set up a play. But he sees an opportunity and an ever-willing runner in Ethan O'Neill. Another brilliant close season signing from the Leigh Leopards. Just beats the outreached arms of Julian Nsemba and opens up the scoring. It's not great on his feet, Ethan O'Neill, is it?
Well, he was halfway through his celebration at Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, you might remember. He slipped over. Maybe that is the celebration. Make it look like
He's
a
pulling everybody the slip. I tell you what, I'd be delighted. Delighted, well, Adrian Lamb, with the start that the Leopards have made.
Absolutely. Well, they've lost a half and they've lost a goal kicker, have Leigh, but they've been replaced by a very good half and a very decent goal kicker as well in Ben McNamara. So I think you'd expect this to go over. Big deep breath, shrug of the shoulders, then up he steps and does the job to the delight of those Leigh fans. 28 points to 18. And let's hear from Jenna down on the touchline.
Yeah, Dave, I can tell you that Leigh, 45 minutes into this game, are yet to use a sub. They, of course, had that HIA to offer Ngawi in that first half, which was reversed. Now, Gaz O'Brien, you just saw, has come off for a head injury assessment. You've just seen Ben McNamara go on and kick that conversion in place of Gaz O'Brien. So, yeah, very interesting. Still the best part of this half left, and they're yet to use a sub.
Wow, well, we hadn't spotted that. And they've got a bit of impact from the bench as well, Tuitavaki. Yeah, especially.
Doesn't play big minutes, Tuitavaki, but he's very, very effective.
He might have been a little more concerned at the start of the game because the heat was on in the stadium, but it's cooled down a little now, hasn't it? So might get bigger minutes out of him as a result of that. Trout gets up and plays. Ipape goes out, and Leigh are suddenly flooded with confidence.
Yeah, this gives the Leopards renewed purpose now. A good early score. They've got themselves within touching distance now of the Warriors.
New dummy half. Lamb, McNamara threading it back. There's a vibrancy now. There's an extra skip in the step as Hodgson embodies that with his carry. And into Wigan's half. First job done in this set. Can they complete even more? Off for Hengawi, grabbed out by Nsemba. Drags him down. But they've only one play to go. Ipape, Lamb, sticks it up there. Field, but in fact it's closer to Marshall, who's dropped the ball, and Leigh get it back, and it's another set of 6 because of the touch from the Wigan player. And Wigan defenders are trying to flood back, but Leigh are anxious to get on quickly, and Ipape goes screaming out there. There's the mistake. Here's the position. We got a stoppage.
Henry, are we tapping? Wait.
Penalty given, so Leigh will take the tap. Of course they will. So 6 from here again. Liu with a pass, smashed in by Mulhern. Ipape, listen to those Leigh fans right now. They are noisy neighbours. And a twist by Liu, but he ain't going to get out of that. He's a job done on him. Ipape again. McNamara throws it back to Lamb, back on the inside to Hanley, who's threatening to break through. They hold on to his coattails just to deny him. An extra step short. Ipape back to Lamb, little double pump from him. We've seen that so many times, but not effective this time because Hodgson's gathered in. They wait. New to Lamb. to Ipape. Oh, great right foot step to get him past Thompson, but into the hands of Farrell, but still keeps it alive. Tessinuga goes running across the field, then tries to see a way through. Held up, 5 away. Ipape's in there quickly, goes scooting out. Quick hands from McNamara, and he's over again. Oh, O'Neill with a touchdown. Little bit of a fumbling scene there, but the referee is content. What a double, what a brace, and what a game we have on our hands now, and don't they know it?
Oh, in 4 minutes, O'Neill has come up with 2 tries, one's converted. This, if Ben McNamara's boots are anything to go by for the last one, will be as well. 12-point turnaround inside 5 minutes. What a start to the second half. I'll tell you what, boy, we've got a game on our hands now. Look at Lachlan Lambert on the red line. Number 7 got the short side, onside for a kick chase which has been consistently good for the Leopards this evening. Marshall with the error, and from the resulting possession, great catch and pass. It's a brilliant catch and pass from McNamara. That is an excellent catch and pass, reactive stuff from McNamara. And Ethan O'Neill is he's delighted, isn't he? Celebrates in front of the Leigh fans. We've got a game, Dave. We have got a game.
Well, there's a bit of a pattern developing here. Wigan had the game won against Warrington and gave them a look back into it and nearly lost the points. They looked as though they got the game won here, and in a much earlier stage in the piece, Leigh have got themselves right back in it again. Listen to those Leigh fans. McNamara, who's been pawing the ground on the touchline, waiting to get involved. What an involvement he's having. Another kick to bring his side within 4. It's low and hard, but he has put it wide. But at 28 points to 22, there's only a score between them.
1 score game, exactly right. Look at this for a catch and pass from McNamara. That's outstanding. That's brilliant stuff. And a double from Ethan O'Neill. And we go back to Jenna's point and pointing out that the Leigh Leopards have yet to make a sub, because this game is now a 1-score contest, and they have got reinforcements off the bench to come on fresh and inject some more energy into this Leigh Leopard side.
Here comes Charnley with a charger. Remember, there's another game on tonight. Hull were leading Leeds 10-4 at half-time. They've shot out to a 16-10 lead. Sounds like a good game. Sky Sports Plus for that one, of course. We give you the option if there are 2 games being played at the same time. And if you fancy that one, it's over there. But I suspect if you've chosen this one in the first place, you ain't moving, because this is turning into a proper contest. 28-22 with half an hour to play. And who knows from here? Talk about that scarcity of points that Leigh have scored against Wigan in the last 10 matches. This is the biggest haul of points they've had against Wigan in those 10 matches. So it's one barrier broken. Inside the 40, Lamb lets loose with a kick, but Field should take that safely, and he does. Leigh's defence is up there, Field is stopped at the first time of asking. Well, this is Bevan French, scooping up Eckersley now, the winger on the night, looking to buy some extra yards, leaning out of dummy half. The other winger now, Marshall, will take it on, busted nose and all. And with 3 tackles gone, Wigan are edging, but only edging towards that halfway line. There's no edging when December has the ball, but he doesn't make too big of an impact. Out goes Leeming, set restart, another set for Wigan to play with, and suddenly it's a Wigan noise in the stadium. In response to that, they've got a ship to right here. Unbalanced by the events of the last 5 minutes, but Thompson, in typical style. Leeming goes out. Smith hands it on. Nasemba batters at them, but they hang on. Ipape holding. Another set restart. Back-to-back sets. Out of dummy half it's taken. No way through for Wardle. Nasemba bends his back. Back to Leeming. Across it comes. Ellis with a spin. 4 plays to go, and Wigan are perched on the edge. Leeming with the dummy, tries to trick his way through, but Leigh's defenders remain resolute. Ellis to Smith, back to French, puts the speed on, dancing hands and dancing feet, and what a pass that is, and Eckersley again. Well, sit back and admire the absolute individual brilliance of Bevan French. Not a try scorer on this occasion, but again, a try maker extraordinaire.
No, stop it. Stop it, Bevan. There is nobody else in the sport of rugby league who could do that. That is, it's just special. Just really, really special. Just, I'm almost lost for words. Just the way he skirts the line, he moves at a different pace to anybody else. And he just forces the Leigh Leopards just into scramble mode. Gets on the outside of Lachlan Lamb, and then Eckersley holds his chalk. But just there's so much going on. Finds the kink in the defensive line and exploits it. It's just, that is special.
If you're a Leigh fan, you're sick to the stomach at what you've just seen. Of course you are. But if you're a rugby league fan, you just have to admire it. I mean, Kevin Brown said at half-time that the first try he created was probably undefendable. And I think that goes into the same category, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
there's no defence in the land that defends that.
No. The thing is, as well, is he doesn't pull this out of his locker once every 6 or 7 games. This is every match. There is something there to latch onto. If you're a Wigan Warriors fan, if you're a rugby league fan, to enjoy and soak up, that is a special, special play.
Well, to think he started life at Wigan as a winger. And look how he's developed. You know that time when it was between him and Field, who was the 6, who was the 1?
And that weekend was a magic weekend, wasn't it? When Jay Field had a bit of a nightmare in that sixth position. They moved Bevan French, and I don't think he nor the team have looked back since.
No. Well, how lucky is he as a coach to have Bevan French in the side. And Eckersley having scored the try, and now it's Kieran who has the chance of the goal. Whacks it hard, and has he whacked it accurately? No, he's hit the post again. 2 posts in 1 game. If you hit it 3 times, you get to take the post home. But just admire this moment again.
Yeah, just Bevan French, standing start, switch play. Just how he gets across 2 players. He gets across the front of 2 players before they can react. Charlie doesn't really have an option other than to try and come in and shut it down. But it's just that speed, that first 2 or 3 metres, skins 2 players, makes defensive lines do things they do not want to do. Special, special player.
And here's Mago. Welcome back to Patrick Mago, having missed a couple of weeks with injury. There's a handful for Leigh to defend. Well, we've seen the character and the courage from Leigh in the first half. They seemed down and out. They found a way to just about keep themselves in the contest. They've responded valiantly in the second half with those 2 Ethan O'Neill tries. But now they've been given the challenge. Do it again, and a little bit more. If they're going to win this game, if they're going to leapfrog Wigan, well, that'll help. Farrell's pass goes wildly wide. And Leigh will have it back.
And in amongst the moments of brilliance that we've seen and the general purpose with which Wigan play, there have been a few of these moments, haven't they? Knock-ons, errors in their own half, passes into touch, errant balls. This is not vintage Wigan. It's just peppered with moments of brilliance that Leigh can't handle. So the door remains open for Leigh.
To paraphrase the great sports writer Ian Woolridge from years ago, it's a bit like criticising Shakespeare for his postcards home. Although admitting that Hamlet and Macbeth were pretty good. Classic moments tonight have been classic, but as you say, there have been fumbles along the way, which keeps Leigh very much in the hunt. December comes out of the line to make the tackle on Offa Hingawa. McNamara inside, and now it's Mulher. Ipape. Lamb. And he's got a runner on that inside again. Tuatavaki, who's on the field from the bench. Lamb, always being chased down and hunted down. Never got time to pick up and consider anything there, because Bruce Leeming was all over him. By the way, news from downstairs, Gareth O'Brien has failed his HIA, so he will not be coming back, and he'll miss next week as well. So catch by Field. That's a return by Field as well. Wigan up to the 20. Marshall. A couple of plays gone. Leigh desperate to keep Wigan in this half. Little skip out of dummy half early by Offahengawi. Almost offered a gap because he was clearly offside, but a couple of Leigh defenders came in to close that gap. Leeming. Offahengawi doing his best to try and tear the ball away from him, but can't do so. Oh, Patrick Mago wondered where the ball had gone. Behind you, Patrick. This is Thompson. 5 gone, 1 to go. Leeming again, stands and waits. Smith to that left-hand side. Sticks it up there. Guess who's chasing? Guess who's chasing? Bevan French. And he couldn't get there because, well, the ball's gone loose. The ball's gone loose. The referee's got a decision to make here. Well, he's not making that decision.
Well, there's a knock-on in there. Yeah. There's a knock-on from French as he's pulled it loose. I think that probably precedes anything else. Any potential obstruction that
coming up to tackle one.
He was impeded
I have a
after
live
that.
call of no try. Ruling on Field is that Field initially pulls the ball one-on-one forwards. If it's not a knock-on, then we're potentially in a penalty try situation. Potentially. It'll be reviewed.
OK, there's no tackle. The on-field ruling is no try. From a kick, so we'll check the kick chase. So there's chasers to the right that are offside, but Bevan French and Nsembra are OK, so we'll play it through from this point. Track the chasers. So keep playing it through. OK, that's a fair contest. He takes possession of the ball. We need something closer in. So that's fine. He takes possession cleanly. Do you have something closer in on that with French, please? Possibly the corner angle. Camera 8, possibly. So before this, sorry, we need to see how that ball comes out. Keep going back, keep going back. OK, slow on this, please. So we know he takes possession. Bevan French pulls the ball out, and the ball then travels forward. If you just go back for me, please, we'll just confirm whether there's 2 players in the tackle. OK, so both players have to be affecting the tackle. Do you have something wider out? Camera 5, possibly. We know that French steals the ball and it then goes forward. So just nice and slow on this. Slow on this. The ball is out at that point before Wardle is affecting the tackle. OK, thank you. I've made my decision.
Well, there you go. Magician unmasked. We saw his conjuring tricks there, didn't we? And the video referee, the dark arts of a ball steal, so it'll be no try. Well, we know it's no try because no one actually touched the ball down anyway, did they? But it is no try.
It's just how to restart play, that's all. So the last little bit of deliberation was to see whether that was a 2-on-1 steal. It was a 1-on-1 steal, but it was ripped out forward. So constitutes a knock-on. That's why we have the scrum.
So let's get back to it, eh? Let's get back to it. It's Charnley, outnumbered.
One. That's Charnley. Oh, we get Josh. Go on.
Pape moving that ball left, and now it's with McIntosh.
Back. Wait.
Pape wants it played much quicker than he eventually got it. Hanley again. He's drifting in there, but again just outnumbered and out-muscled. Offahengawi. And here's Ipape as they come towards the end of this tackle count. Davis, as Jenna told us earlier, it's been late that these benchmen have come onto the field. Davis the latest of those, but well into the second half before Leigh had used a legitimate substitute. The others have been HIA replacements. Here comes Eckersley. running it back, but doesn't make too much progress with Leigh in hot pursuit. Smith. Now Marshall. 20 minutes left to play, 10 points the difference, so theoretically still very much a contest here if Leigh score next, and be wary of writing them off because they've booked the trend a couple of times so far tonight. They're very capable of doing that again. Leeming, French, they go, hoist it back, and they're in motion again here, and this is threatening, and Field gets it away to Marshall, and Marshall has support if he needs it. Leeming's there, Leeming will sprint to the corner and finish it off. Aye, captain, from Cruz Leeming. But, and it seems as always, there's a but.
Just looking at potential obstruction, please.
Team try, but was it legitimate, or did it come on the back of an obstruction?
OK, we're tackle 4. On-field decision is try. We're checking for a possible obstruction. If we play through from this point, slow. Play through. Nsemba's a lead runner. OK, so we need to consider the actions of the lead defender. Does he initiate contact? It's difficult to tell on that angle. Do you have something possibly to hide behind if you go back? OK, so play it through slow. The lead runner has to run at space, which he does. He's running at space, and the lead defender, Hanley, initiates the contact, so we can play on at that point. He turns his body in and initiates the contact, so we're fine to play on. Somebody slow through to the ground in. And the ball is grounded. I've made my decision.
Well, the rules of the game not coming to Leigh's rescue on that occasion because it was all within the rules of the game. Referee and video referee deciding this will be Cruz Leeming's moment in the spotlight as his effort is confirmed. And Wigan out to a 36 points to 22. And Leigh's task just got majorly difficult.
What you've seen there is the Junior Nsemba effect. You've got somebody so dynamic, so strong, running a good line on the edge. Amila Hanley feels he has no choice just to try and break and attempt to put himself in front of that potential lead line run. They go out the back, and then Marshall finds Leeming, who finishes off the try in the corner. When you've got a target like Nsemba to work with, you don't always have to pass him the ball. This is the thing. It makes it so difficult for opposition defenders.
Well, there's a salute in honour of his dad, and they've copied as well. It's become a meme in Wigan. We've told the stories before, but he's named Cruz because he was conceived on a cruise. And his dad was very much the sailor. And so that is honour of his dad.
That one there. we could end up somewhere we don't want to be, Dave, if we carry on with that one. Nice story as it is.
So Leeming, the try scorer, and Kieran looking to add another 2. Oh no, it's put it wide. 36 points to 22.
Yeah, again, just take a look at Junior Nsemba's line. Hanley feels he has to account for that run. That opens up the space for Jay Field. Out to Marshall, back on the inside for Leeming. That hooker rotation works really well as well, doesn't it? The Wigan Warriors fans celebrating yet another try from the home side. There's the great Billy Boston.
There he is, Billy Boston.
He would have enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah.
And just that difference in style of play between Brad O'Neill and Cruz Leeming. Brad soaks up all the pressure, hard-hitting defender, hard worker. And then Cruz comes on, really, really crafty from the dummy half position. He's been busy tonight since he's come on the field.
Yeah. Nsemba again, this time with ball in hand, causing a problem. Caused a problem without the ball last time, now he's causing problems with it. Leigh steps forward again. Leigh regrouping on the halfway line, creating that wall. Across the line it comes from Leeming, puts it back, French, and again just skipping, and one or two defenders guessing at which way they should run, but guessed right. Owen Trout on that occasion. This is Smith, who belts it high. It's well caught. Latest from Leeds Hull, by the way. Oh, golly, that's a close one, isn't it? Leeds 14, Hull FC 16. As we mentioned earlier, real tussle for the top 6 between those two. Leeds starting the night in 5th, Hull in 6th, but a Hull win would see them leapfrog not only Leeds but also St Helens. Hull could go 4th with a win tonight. Likewise, Leeds could go 4th if they could get the win. Here, Wigan are going top as it stands, on points difference above Hull Kingston Rovers, who've still got a game to go this weekend. But Leigh might still have a word to say about that. Charnley dashing inside, holding off 3. Almost rolling, may go over, but on the floor, the big fella gets a hold. Lamb. Wigan's defenders in Smith advancing out. The ball's popped over the top. This is Hanley. McIntosh. It's a lengthy wait for this last play, and Walters has come a long way out to try and close things down. The ball is kicked and it's kept in play, and Marshall comes up with it.
Well, we've seen a much more expansive set from the Leigh Leopards. They feel now with 15 minutes left on the clock that they're going to have to chance their arm a little bit. I think they look good doing it. It just didn't quite work out at the end of that set, but there was a nice piece of play early in the set. Short sides are working for them. There's still something for them to go at, the Leigh Leopards. This is not a done deal just yet.
Surrender!
Ethan O'Neill having a gander. Where's he going to go? Well,
Can we play the ball?
not anywhere at the moment, because Eckersley's
Can we play
hurt.
at the side? Can we play at the side?
Typical rugby league fashion. There's a fella lying there with a clear injury, and the referee asks, can we just play it at the side, get on with the game? But the doctor's on the field, so it has to be stopped. Penny for the thoughts there. What is that discussion about, you reckon, are you guessing?
I've spent some time in the company of Matt and Tommy on a game day, and whatever it is, it's always relaxed and measured and calm. There's a huge rugby league intellect in Tommy Luluai. He's had a glittering career, hasn't he?
I think they've just realised we're talking about them, looking around.
Yeah, the concern, though, as well, I would have thought, for Zach Eckersley.
Yeah.
He's obviously fallen awkwardly into the tackle.
And if this is, I mean, let's not be too gloomy too soon, but if he is injured, it just adds to the problem they've got on the wing in the absence of Abbas Miski. Jacob Douglas was named in the 21 today. He's played a couple of times this season, but didn't make the 17 or indeed the 18.
Scored a good try, did Jacob Douglas last year at Wigan. Very good try. So again, another able deputy, but yeah, this is the time of the year when squads do start getting tested.
I've given Luke Thompson 2 in the ruck. I just said I'll give him that name.
Well, there you go, Sean Wayne. Once of this parish as head coach, now of course the England head coach, and watching on, and will be making his calculations about who's in, who's out, whether he needs to shake it all about in terms of reputations for that big Ashes series at the end of the year.
No, this is not a great sign, is it? You never like to see a stretcher come on the field. Well, the good news is we can see Zach Eckersley is moving arms and legs, so this is hopefully just a precautionary measure. The medical staff will take as long as they need.
Yeah. No chances taken. Well, Bevan French has been giving us a masterclass so far tonight.
Yeah, some real wow moments, and we've seen from him. A couple of try assists, one in the first half, one in the second half. This This was the first nice piece of short side play for the Adam Kieran try on 25 minutes. That was pretty good. And then this was, I mean, we called that the play of the day before half-time. This, I think, the play of the evening. Just sublime skill from a really special player. That was for Eckersley's try, and that's the breaking play currently that we're experiencing at the moment, because Zach Eckersley, the try scorer from Bevan French's second try assist, is currently receiving medical treatment on the 20-metre line, and we hope, everybody at Sky Sports hopes, that Zach is okay, and this is nothing more than a precaution.
Lengthy injury in the women's game as well, wasn't there? Young Renouf, who spent a long time on the floor before the medical staff had to deal with that situation. So a couple of hold-ups in both games so far. But as you say, John, it's the medical staff who take control. You know, as soon as they see it, they're on the field.
Yeah, and
forget the referee, forget what's going on they go. And they take control and hopefully lessen the impact of whatever damage has been done here to young Zach Eckersley. Hopefully he's going to be okay. Well, Leigh, having lost in the semi-final last week, looked like they could be on the end of a defeat again here tonight. So they've got some important matches coming up, and they're away from home, a lot of that. Hull FC next week at the Leigh Sports Village, but then they're on their travels. Huddersfield away, Wakefield away, Catalan away, Leeds away. All teams that are below them at the moment.
Yeah, I think rounds 12 and 16, the first and last of those fixtures, they're the ones that Adrian Lamb will really be looking and thinking they're going to be crucial. They're in and around, teams that are going to be in and around and challenging Hull FC and Leeds, you would have thought.
After that Hull game next week, their next home game is Wigan at home on July the 4th. Meantime, Wigan are on their travels. They're not at home again until July the 11th, when they're here against Huddersfield. But Catalan away, Salford away, Huddersfield, Wakefield, Castleford and Leigh. Tell you, the coach driver will be looking for some big tips, won't he? After that.
And that's, you know, again, just another one of those layered challenges for a head coach. It's not just, you know, what team you pick or what drills you run or what opposition you preview. It's how you navigate periods like that during your season, where you are away from home, on the road. That affects your training, your recovery, all of those other intricate little pieces of the puzzle.
Well, this Zach Eckersley injury is worrying because of that ongoing problem with Abbas Miski, who just happens to be downstairs with Jenna at the moment. Jenna.
Yeah, Dave, I spotted Abbas sitting next to me. Abbas, you, of course, had knee surgery, 9 days ago, was it? How's recovery going? Going to be out for 2 months?
Yeah, it's going well. Obviously, the first week's a little hard, just recovering from all the swelling and the surgery itself. But it's good signs. The surgery went well, and working closely with the physio team, hopefully get me back in time.
In time for, well, hopefully playoffs. I mean, the way Wigan Warriors are going at the minute, you certainly are in to potentially win another grand final.
Yeah, hopefully. Just with us not making the Challenge Cup as well, I thought it was a good time to, alongside Matty and the coaches, to get it done now and hopefully be back for the back end of the season. So, you know, obviously, I'd love to be there for the big games, and that's the plan right now.
Brilliant stuff, Abbas. Thank you so much for chatting to us. We, of course, hope Zach is doing okay.
Thanks, Janet. Good to get that. And one player who does come into the picture, by the way, is Christian Wade. You know, that big signing they announced Wigan on Good Friday before the St Helens game, and he was signed presumably for situations like this till the end of the season. I think he's still at Gloucester, isn't he, till their season finishes? But then he becomes available towards the back end of May this month. Well, what a baptism of fire it could be for him.
I think in an ideal world, the Warriors management there is Chris Radlinski.
Oh, Martin Offiah.
Martin Offiah. Martin Offiah, yeah.
Just in case we hadn't noticed him.
Put himself in the picture, yeah. Nice one, Martin. Yeah, there would be a period of adjustment, surely. I mean, coming off the back of a long season in rugby union, they would want to see what Christian's made of. So maybe Douglas gets the nod ahead of that. But look, I think all thoughts and focus at the moment is on Zach Eckersley. This is turning into an extended period here of time.
Yeah.
That the medical staff are really taking their time here and being careful.
So, well, Wigan are comfortable here. There's a real big game going on at Headingley tonight as well between Leeds and Hull. To remind you, Hull edging it last time we heard, but And it is a bot. Leeds are in the mood tonight as well. A try for them.
Great from Riley Love, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Danced with a touchline there. I mean, we've seen some skill here, haven't we? Skill all over Super League. I mean, you looked at...
Not sure what the score was there. What's the score then? He's 14-16 still.
So that was the latest try from the Leeds Rhinos to close up the gap. Yeah, I mean, that was outstanding. I mean, we've seen some, Will Price's try assist for Lewis Martin's try was exceptional. We've seen some real skill on show, haven't we, this evening across both channels.
Yeah. Let's get some thoughts from Brian. Brian Carney's over there with Kev Brown.
Dave, John, thank you very much. Yes, obviously worrying times for everybody here in the stadium as Zach Eckersley's treated. Kevin Brown beside me, who has been part of our special double-header here. Incidentally, in the women's game as well, we saw an extended layoff as well, 17 minutes, while Tamsin Renniff received treatment as well. Thankfully, she was okay, and we hope the same of Zach.
Yeah, definitely, and it's it's a difficult one for all the players. Everyone who plays rugby league, it is a family game, and they'll be hoping that, on both sides, that Zach is okay, he gets on his feet, and after this game he's fine, exactly like the Tamsin Renniff was in the previous game. But just looking at the game, Brian, when you look at Bevan French, he's almost like a cheat code, isn't he? He's, in both halves, he's been magnificent and opened up the defences.
Well, wonderful reception, as you would expect from the crowd inside here in the stadium. They will have a look at the tackle. That's probably the next process in this, and the referee's comments on this will be all important. We have had a look at it. It's not great.
No, it's a classic crusher, but there's an awful lot of weight goes through the back of Zach Eckersley's neck. What I would say is the medical staff always do this as a precaution, so I know it looks bad, but we're all keeping our fingers crossed that Zach is okay.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Adrian Lamb as well, saluting Zach Eckersley, the referee now. This will be all important as we go back to Dave Woods and John Wells.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, and all our thoughts, just to reiterate that, with Zach Eckersley, and hopefully, as bad as it looks, hopefully he's back on his feet and fully fit.
If it's foul play or not.
Very,
it's going to go on
very
report.
soon.
We're going to get it looked at on Monday, okay?
Well, there you go. Kev calling it a crusher tackle, and it's gone on report.
Yeah, explanation there is complex mechanics going on there, a lot going on. They're going to put that in report and review at the start of next week, so we do get to play on. Always interested in these parts of the games, Dave. Just long breaks, long extended periods where players' minds can drift. It's who switches on, and the Leigh Leopards really need to switch on and fire up quickly.
Well, we're not showing a replay because it didn't look great, so for that reason we've not had the replay. But Wigan back in possession, 36 points to 22. Leigh still an outside chance, 15 minutes to go. Well, they need to get their skates on. It's Wigan, though, who are getting their skates on. Again, Warner with the ball back on the inside. Support was there, but Leigh's defence recovered quickly. Field stopped. Smith reaches, as does Ellis. Ellis puts a kick in that Bevan French is chasing, and Hodgson, well, wouldn't have expected that fumble, but it went backwards.
He's done so well, Bailey Hodgson, because he was in the tackle that stopped Jay Field. He was at marker, he got himself out of marker, tracked across the back of the field, and then picked up Cade Ellis's kick. Brilliant stuff from the young fullback. Bit of football skills there.
Yeah, right.
Under pressure, clean take, tidies up, nice work.
Fabulous stuff. It's going to be a late finish here. It's a good job it's not a school night, but you don't want to miss this because Leigh still hoping, Wigan hoping to put on a bit more glamour as well. Ipapa, Lamb's kick. That's a high spiral as well. That's difficult to deal with, and Field doesn't deal with it and doesn't get a touch on it, and Kieran doesn't deal with it, and he does get a touch on it. The referee waits to make sure that Leigh don't get an advantage there. What a kick that was! Wow!
He got hold of that. That's some real hang time, and you saw Jay Field herring towards it. There's a challenge here.
Russia, we have a captain's challenge. We're going to challenge in the decision of a knock-on.
Well, you heard it, so let's have a look at it.
Okay, there's no tackle. We're going to challenge in the ruling of a knock-on. If we go back, we just need to check that there's no touch by Jai Field. It's nice and slow on this. Okay, so that doesn't touch field. The ball doesn't change shape or rotate, so we can go through to the Kieran one. Just go really slow on that. Go back to camera 4 for me, please. We need to check the direction of the ball, so we know that it touches his arm. The ball touches his arm and then goes straight, goes to the floor in a forward direction, so he knocks the ball on. The challenge is unsuccessful.
Well, you have to ask the question, how did he not know he'd knocked on? Here we go, unsuccessful. Leigh get it back.
And you feel like they've got to make something out of this possession.
Don't push me now, boys.
Time and the scoreboard and the clock are both enemies to the Leigh Leopards at the moment. You feel like they need something. They need something from this set of 6.
That's Wigan's record in that regard as far as captain's challenges are concerned. Ain't good. Ain't good. 2 out of 5. 2 out of 7, I should say. 5 out unsuccessful. Ipape looking left. O'Neill is on a hat-trick, this fella, but he's held up by 2 defenders. Ipape stands and waits again. 13 minutes to go. Just to remind you that at this stage in the game against Warrington, in similar circumstances, we weren't giving Warrington much hope. And Wigan are trying to make sure that we shouldn't be giving Leigh too much hope with that responsive defence.
That's really good defence. Great side defence. Nobody was willing to commit. Nobody left their shape. It was good setup, wasn't it, from the Leigh Leopards? Look at the depth, look at the options that they've got there. But great work from Liam Fowle, showing all the experience in the world. He refused to bite in on the defender. You see him backtracking, and then when it became an option, it was easier to pick off in Bailey Hodgson's hands. All the experience in the world. That was excellent stuff, and it needed to be as well.
Well, Leeds are ahead 18 points to 16, and Ryan Hall has taken his Super League try-scoring record. That's full time, should say. Leeds have won it. Ryan Hall's now at 258 tries. He's moved 10 clear of Josh Chanley, and you will see that try at full time in this game. But a massive, massive win from Leeds' point of view, which will take them into 4th in that Super League table. Everybody jostling for position.
It's going to be tight this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really tight.
A couple of clubs outside the top 6 at the moment. You would rather fancy the chances of getting in there. The kick downfield.
That's brilliant. That's outstanding from Harry Smith. Just picks a point and gets it off the field. Just really takes the wind out of the Leopard sails once again. They're going to have to do it from their own 10. We're approaching the final 10 minutes of the game, and that's become almost a hallmark of Harry Smith's game. Just a really good knowledge of where they are in the contest, taking the opportunity to slow it down, putting kicks in corners. Really, really top-class stuff. We've seen some real moments of rugby intellect and of outstanding skill this evening.
That try for Ryan Hall, I think, takes him to 336 now for Leeds.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. He's moving up close to Mick Sullivan in the all-time try-scoring list. I think he's 20th at the moment. But anyway, that's for another moment. Let's concentrate on this. Wigan 36, Leigh 22. Lamb kicks away. Again, it's another absolute rocket that goes skyward. And this time Field does get there and does make the catch. But again, the height gives that chase the chance to get as close as it did.
Well, the Leopards have got to go hunting here. They've got to try and force something now, because if allowed, Wigan will get to the end of this set and you'll see the same from Harry Smith. Ball into a corner again, and that's not going to help.
O'Neill in there, a dummy half again. Smith on that left-hand side. Nasemba's there, but he's missed out. It's a step back inside from Marshall. A winger who stepped into the centres with Wardle on his outside. Wardle collects here. Has a look at the mess that's left behind the rock. Takes advantage of that and racing to the corner. J. Phil, brilliant tackle. Brilliant from Donald McIntosh to get there and save the day, and a little bit of concern for his opponent as well. But my goodness, that was good defensive work from the winger.
So much to like about this play. First of all, Jake Wardle just goes to plan B because he sees McNamara in the way of the ruck. Harry Smith, and you thought when the ball went to Jay Field that this was 4 points written all over it. That's smart from Wardle. Smith to Field, and you go in try time. Look at Daniel McIntosh, does not give up on the play. He just runs out of space, does Jay Field. Great work from the Leigh winger.
Charnley, another of those who we talk about in top try-scoring terms. But a yard gained and a yard lost with the heaviness of the defence. Ipape comes out. He's trying to blast their way through here. McIntosh will get to his feet as quickly as he possibly can. Ipape, McNamara helps it on his way. O'Neill, that's his Hanley this time, but he's just beyond the 30 metres and no further. Time running away. Full credit to the Leigh fans, by the way, who are keeping up a terrific atmosphere inside the ground. The noise you can hear is coming from them. This is clearly behind the 40 metres when he bounces away and very, very close to that 20-metre line. The touch judge pulls up short, and it's going to be Wigan who get it back, but by the skin of their teeth. Yeah,
very nearly got that. It was deep inside his 40, wasn't it? I think he decided late that he was going to pull the trigger. And he does get close. That kicks ever so slightly to the right. He's got half a chance. You maybe say Field might have had it covered, but either way, it is Wigan in possession. And again, Leigh are going to have to go to try and force an error here. They need possession. They need it quickly.
Well, welcome back to all those who had been watching Leeds against Hull tonight. You've seen a great game. You're switching on here. We're late because of, if you are one of those, we're late because of a long injury hold-up for Zach Eckersley, but Wigan at the moment are cruising towards victory. December trying to bounce away. Smith pops in at dummy half, runs 360, dodges, weaves and gets the offload. And it's, well, he gave himself up there, didn't he? Yeah, referee gives a knock on. Neil Burns seemed to give himself up, but then he's questioning whether the referee saw it straight or not.
They don't have a challenge either, do they? So that, yeah, I think it did come off the knee as well. And he can argue all he wants, but the referee's made his decision.
Oh, yeah, he had a point. He had a point. He would have had a challenge if they'd had one left. But that little C underneath Wigan's disappeared, so they have to bite their lips. And Leigh go again.
Right, they've got to go now.
In it goes. Out it comes. Switched on to Lamb. Tessinier, two ahead of him, tries to bump his way through. Charlie is ready to deliver here. Lamb again to Atabaki. Bustling forward. Just put on his back to slow things down. Defenders are retreating back to that defensive line before Leigh can play the ball. Lamb once more. Davis now. Stepping and striding. Those Leigh fans giving plenty of support, but Leigh, oh, it was held. Yeah, just offloads just as the referee was bellowing, so he has to go again. Lamb, Ipape rather, and this is Lamb, and popping it up for Hodgson. December takes a hold. Ipape comes in. McNamara's waiting and gathers. Shuffles it left to Lamb. Lamb now right up to the line, and dashing through goes a very dashing Owen Trout. Well, 5 minutes, 10 points. Is there a chance? Well, Owen Trout, if there is, has just given Leigh a little bit of a leg up. You'd still mark Wigan as heavy favourites, but Leigh are going down fighting.
That's a great line. Take a look at Owen Trout, bottom of your screen. Second phase stuff, just hits a really honest line, catches Liam Farrell, ball watching a little bit. Nice short ball from Lachlan Lamb. And yes, we're running short on time, but the Leopards have shown that the 2025 iteration does not give in, does not lie down. And Lachlan's dad, Adrian, head coach, he applauds, I think, both his son and that line, that exquisite line from Owen Trout.
36-28 as a result of this. There's still a maybe hanging in the air, enigmatically.
Yeah, it's Bevan French, a mix-up between Bevan French and Liam Fowle, and Owen Trout just size between the two of them. It's a great line. You go 4.5 minutes left, they've got to score twice. It's not beyond Leigh.
Look at them. They're here for a party tonight, whatever the scoreline, and they might still have a hell of a party if they can turn this around. A few lie-ins tomorrow on Saturday morning, I imagine. But Wigan with a 2-score advantage and time slipping by.
I mean, look, even if Leigh do lose today, there's a marker been put down. You said they were struggling for points. Not only have they scored a hatful, this is the most points scored against the Wigan Warriors this season. I mean, the closest anybody got was Warrington. That was that late comeback in Vegas. So, you know, they are proving something. Whether that's in vain or not, we've got 4 minutes there.
Well, this set is pretty crucial, isn't it? This set.
Yeah, absolutely.
If something incredible is going to happen, it has to happen now, you'd think. Ipape darts in there, knows the urgency of the situation, has a look, can't see, so puts it out to his right-hand side. Hughes hands it on. Davis now slams it forward. Still plays to go, still a chance. It's back with McNamara. To Itabaki, carries a couple of Wigan defenders with him, but still pops it on, and Lamb shoves it left, and Charlie steps back towards the middle. He's determined to get through, but that determination is squashed by those Wigan defenders. Last play. This might be last chance. McNamara sticks it up there. The chase is on. It's into a maelstrom, but leaping high was Kieran, who gathers it in and should make Wigan winners now. Well, good news, because I think Zach Eckersley's down there with Jenna at the moment.
He's not down here with me at the moment, Dave, but I do have an update to bring you. I've just spoken to Professor Chris Brooks. He said that he's conscious, he's alert, he's still in the head brace, he has a pain in his neck, and he's being taken to hospital.
Well, that is terrific news. I mean, it's not great news, is it? You know, all that. Going to hospital, pain in the neck, but terrific news given the situation in which he was carried on.
Yeah, it didn't look great, did it? So great that he's conscious, alert, and talking. And yeah, we're hoping that it's more on the precautionary side, and there's nothing too serious or anything that the Wigan Warriors need to be worried about long term there. So
new. 2 sets that Leigh will have the ball, you'd imagine. They have to score on each. You suspect that's not going to happen, but they'll keep trying. It's back with Hanley, putting on the footwork. Can't bedazzle that Wigan defence that comes his way. Ipape picks up, helped along to Hughes, who gets it out to Lamb, and Lamb back on the inside.
Good tackle, French. Right round the bootlaces, needed to be as well.
Lamb again. They're searching left, they're now searching right. Hanley looks to Itabaki, had made a run in anticipation of a pass, but there were too many bodies in the way. And this is it. There's no way back from this if they don't score here. Davis to Lamb. Long way out to New. New now, stepping inside. Keeps it away. Trout on again. Davis skittled over by O'Neill. Ball goes to ground. Chance disappears, evaporates into thin air. Applause from the coach, from the effort of his side, no doubt. But without doubt, it is Wigan's win tonight now.
Yeah, that was a brilliant tackle, wasn't it, from Brad O'Neill? Really put a full stop to proceedings, and now maybe a little bit of frustration. Matt Davis gives away a penalty, just too much at the ruck. And the Wigan Warriors will pick up another very valuable 2 points. High shot from Davis, and then a bit of fiddling around afterwards as well. So the Wigan Warriors top temporarily. Certainly top the end of this evening's proceedings. Matt Peter, happy man.
Well, kick out of play. There's barely time for 2 more plays here from Wigan's point of view. Satisfied that they are, for the time being, top of the Super League. It's over to Hawkins Rovers against Huddersfield tomorrow to see if they can respond. But Wigan done all that was asked of them. And significantly, maybe they move 3 points clear of third place Leigh now as a result of this. The Battle of the Borough has given some moments of real magic tonight, it really has. But also some perfect examples of courage and character. Leigh often battered and bruised, but kept on battling right towards the end. Plenty for him to be proud of, but his side beaten here tonight. A night on which we will remember his impact. Bevan French again has helped his coach steer his side top of the tree. It has finished. Wigan 26, Leigh 28.